Um, this presentation is basically when Isa approached me to give a small presentation about what is marine engineering all about and what are the prospects and if students want to pursue this career, what is in store for them. So I'm not from the profession of teaching or don't have much background in that, but all I can do is just share my journey and hope that you get a good insight into what this industry is all about and what it has to offer. So in my presentation, I have just briefly kept a few slides about my company, what I do, and then I'll take you through what is shipping and just give you a small insight on what's in store if you take the plunge, and then a little bit about my journey and some information regarding future prospects and what are the options or what doors can be opened once you pursue this particular field. So before I do anything, this is my mantra. This is my focus behind whatever I do is why do I do, and so it is the purpose. Why do I do what I do? It always has to have a reason. Has to have a cause, and this is the way in which I begin the thought process. So if at all you guys are starting anything, always ask why are you doing that. Then once you realize that, then you ask the question how. If I want to do this, then how do I do it? And once you take the specific actions, then the result will be what you have become. So this is a simple three-step mantra which I follow, and it makes my decision making very, very easy. Just a small insight into our companies. We are into the marine industry, and we have a group of 4 or 5 companies which are into various facets of the marine industry, which is shipbuilding, ship repair, and ship trading. I won't bore you with the details, but I thought I'll just let you know what is it we do. So this company was started in 1885 by my great great grandfather, who was supplying provisions to the ships which were during the East India Company. And over the years, gradually with my grandfather and my father, this company was built further ahead. And then in 2005, myself and my brother, we joined in and started the shipbuilding and the ship repair activities after I finished my marine engineering and worked with a few international companies in sailing on their ships, gaining experience, and then using it to expand my business. We're just located all over India and a few places overseas as well. So without any further delay, before we start into what is marine engineering, I wanted to give you all an input on what are the types of ship. People who know it may be knowing that a ship is not just a luxury cruise liner. There are many, many kinds of ships, more than hundreds of types of ships which perform different duties and are used for different purposes for transport of person, transport of products, even transporting food. So it is a huge means of transporting and connecting the world. As we all know that the world is 70% water, so there's a lot of ground to cover. Some ships I think you'll be familiar with are the boats, which are the yachts. Then you have cargo ships for carrying petrol, diesel, jet fuel. The container ships are the one in which when you are buying stuff on Amazon and it needs to be shipped from different countries, then it comes in these container ships. And of course, there are a few more. If you're interested, you can read more about them. It's available online. On the commercial vessels, which are more oriented to where the marine engineers work, are the container ships, chemical tankers, crude oil tankers, which carry the crude oil, Ro-Ro, in which you can transport people as well as their cars from one island to another island, general cargo ships, which carry food and different products like cement, etc. And then you have the LNG tankers, which carry the liquefied natural gas, which is now an alternative fuel used by some industries. And then, of course, the bulk carriers in which you can have grain, food items, and basically whatever you need to carry. These are the ships which were also being used extensively. These are the type of ships which are being extensively used during the lockdown to bring in food, medicine. So there was a lot of work done by the people of this industry as well. To give you an insight onto what is there in a ship, so this is actually a container ship broken down. You can see that it has a forward part and the aft part. Uh, in detail, I don't want to go into details, but just to give you a feel of what is it in store for you if at all you choose this career path and you would like to sail on the ships. If you can see down below here where you have the engine room, that is where the entire engineering stuff is. And I have some more pictures which I will show later on in my slides. That this is where all the application comes through. This white part is the accommodation. Here is the accommodation, and then you have different cargo holds in which you can carry different equipments. So a ship is like a town by itself. It has about 30 to 40 people who are working on it. You have about 10 people, 10 to 15 people on the engineering side, about 10 to 15 people on the deck side, which help in bringing the ship alongside, throwing the ropes, doing the paperwork. And then you also have a full-fledged cooking team which makes food. So it is a small town by itself where you have electrical works, electronics, mechanical, hydraulics, pneumatics. It's an application of everything, and it's like a jack of all engineering, if I may say so. This is how a typical wheelhouse looks like, which is the bridge where the captain of the ship usually controls the movement of the vessel. And this place is on top of the entire ship so that you get a clear view of the surroundings and can maneuver it correctly. This is how the engine room looks like. This is where most of the marine engineers who are working onto the engineering side, they work in this particular room where they take care of all the main equipments, which are the engines, the generators, you have compressors, you have water makers, you have a lot of pumps, valves, which are required to run the entire machinery. So if at all, to give a good comparison, if you lift the hood of your car, you'll find an engine and you'll find a lot of connections over there. And basically, you're on the driver's seat and driving the car. So the person who's driving the car is the captain, but the marine engineer is the person who is inside that hood, who is making the magic, who's making the things work so that whenever the captain wants to turn left, he can turn left. But the commands, the controls, everything is working from inside here. This is the heart of the ship. Another view of the engine room. By the way, it's really hot in here. It's about 45 degrees. It's not easy working here because the engine, the exhaust temperatures go more than 300 degrees. So it's a very hot environment. And this is the accommodation. So on an officer level, this is the room which you can expect to get. Most of the ships now are quite modern and they have good facilities for people who are going on. And so these are the two departments which predominantly function on a ship. You have the deck side and you have the engine side. So the deck side are the people who are which gradually move into becoming the captain of the ship. They are known as the nautical or the navigating officers, which are mostly predominantly used for navigating, looking at the charts, plotting the route in the water, which way to take and which way to go out. And then you have the engine department, which does the engineering work, makes sure that all the machinery which is there on the ship is up and running and is performing so that the ship can carry out its duties or move whatever cargo or any product which it has from one destination to another. What you're seeing here is the level of progression which you can see if you opt for this particular line. If you're going in for the deck side, then you can basically graduate from one stripe is the third officer, then you go to the second officer, chief officer, and then the captain. And whereas if you see on the labels below, which is on the engine side, you have the fourth engineer, third engineer, second engineer, and then the chief engineer. So the chief engineer and the captain are the senior most people on the ship, and they are the ones who are responsible for the operations. So a little bit about my journey. Um, I was studying in St. Mary's School in Mumbai, and then I did my college at KC College, Kishan Chand Chelaram College in Churchgate. After finishing my plus two with science as my major, I applied to marine engineering colleges across India, and then I got selected by a college called Tolani Maritime Institute, which is an off-campus affiliation of BITS Pilani. Um, it's a 4-year engineering course, and you get a BS in engineering degree in marine engineering. And after that, through campus interviews, you can get selected by a lot of shipping companies come in to recruit cadets while they are studying, so that they can, after they graduate, they can straight away join the ship and move ahead in their career. After you keep sailing for a few years, you can keep giving examinations and upgrade yourself from a cadet to a fourth engineer, and then gradually go up to becoming a chief engineer. On the engine, on the deck side, you can move up to become a captain. So usually it takes about 6 to 7 years after you graduate to finally become a chief engineer. And after you become a chief engineer, you can sail for 20, 25 years, depending on how whether you like it, whether you don't like it. I have sailed for a few years, maybe 3 to 4 years, and initially it was quite exciting. And I was about 6 to 7 months. I used to stay on the ship, and then maybe 2 months I used to come back home and then go back again. The downside is that you're away from family and friends. But the upside is that it's an exciting life. You get to visit a lot of new countries, and you're earning in dollars. So and since you're out of the country for more than 180 days, you also become an NRI. So whatever you earn is not taxable. Since the environment in which you're working is quite hazardous, the pay is also very, very good. But with every high payment, you always have sacrifices to be made. So it can get quite lonely out there. So I got recruited by Shell when I was in the second year of my engineering. They had come for a campus interview, and I got recruited by them. And for 2 years, they were monitoring my progress, and they had a particular CGPA below which I should not go. So I maintained my grades, and after I graduated, I was employed by them and sailed with them for about 3 to 4 years. And then my family business required my attention. So whatever I learned in those 4 years of engineering and 4 years in Shell, I used it to expand my business. So when I joined in, I started the ship repair and the boat building division, which today is helping me move ahead and achieve whatever I have sought out to achieve. So just to give you a glimpse of where we are today, from starting from a person who loved the sea absolutely to making a boat of my own. This is a boat which we have recently built for the Indian Navy. I just thought of sharing it with you guys. So this is a naval rigid boat, which does a speed of about 35 knots. 1 knot is 1.6 or 1.8 kilometers per hour. So this is what we are building today under the Make in India initiative, wholly built here in Thane for the Indian Navy. So coming on to what is marine engineering. Um, I'll just quickly cover it in these three, four segments, as in what is it all about and what are the prospects. If you want to branch out into some other directions and not go on the ship and not sail, what options do you have after doing this course? So marine engineering is basically an amalgamation of, like I said earlier, it's a jack of all trades. Since you're going to be in an environment where you have to do everything yourself, you have to be proficient in almost everything. That includes electrical, electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, mechanical, and it really this course gives you an all-round overlook of what you actually need. It equips you with the tools to kind of take care of situations out there at sea. What is the scope in India and abroad? So marine engineers, or if you do marine engineering and you don't want to go out to sea and you don't want to sail on the ship, then you can do value-added courses like naval architecture, or join any of these companies are interested in recruiting marine engineers, like engine production companies like Caterpillar, like Volvo, Cummins, then merchant shipping companies like Shell, Chevron. These are all oil companies, but there are other companies as well in India. You have Shipping Corporation of India, which is owned by the government of India. They would employ. You have ship and boat building companies, ship repair companies, design companies where you design ships and provide that design to shipbuilders for them to kind of manufacture that ship as per the design. So a lot of courses available overseas as well, with ship design, yacht design. There are, if to mind, I think in Southampton there are some courses available even in India. And Tolani, my college, my alma mater, also provides post graduation in marine engineering for and they have affiliation with the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. Also, people who are interested to join the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard, they also need marine engineers or people from the electrical electronics background, because like how I showed you the merchant ships, the Indian naval vessels as well as the Coast Guard ships are all built in the similar fashion. They may have a different orientation of the equipment, but the basic engineering is the same. Another industry which is really opening up to marine engineers is oil and gas, where you have oil rigs which do drilling for crude oil, and ONGC, one of the biggest companies in India, they recruit a lot of design engineers, people who are good with designing work, people who have worked on oil rigs to kind of go along with the rig and help in the drilling process. So a lot of equipment, a lot of machinery is there on these oil rigs which need maintenance, which need to be kept operational, and people with this kind of qualification can also apply, and there is good scope for them in these fields. Some of the courses available are BE in engineering. You have BS Marine Engineering in B Tech. There are there are diplomas as well of different courses available, and more details if you have a counselor who can guide you if you want to choose a particular field, either on the deck side, on the engine side, or be a designer, or then just do general marine engineering and go into diversified fields of oil and gas. Then they can probably guide you which particular courses to do. You can also do marine engineering and then probably do some value added courses, or do a mix and match, like do the course and then sail for a couple of years, take that experience, and then go in for post graduation with maybe a designing degree or a management degree like an MBA. So in today's market, people who have technical knowledge as well as commercial knowledge are really sought after. And after having mastered the technical side, and if you feel that you would want to do commercial business and be on the marketing or on research and development, then you could do an MBA or any other management degree, and kind of have best of both the worlds, and put yourself out there, where there are many companies in the world would gladly recruit people having the knowledge across the platform. Some more degrees which I was just browsing online. Naval architecture and ship construction is also really required. There's a paucity of naval architects here in India, and most of the designers are recruited from overseas, be it L&T, Larsen and Toubro, or any other big heavy engineering company. Most of the designers are coming from overseas, the key designers. So now people have started taking up designing naval architecture, construction, ship construction. I have put specifically, but there are other types of construction also, naval constructions, which you can do, and they will lot of institutes offering these courses, like IIT Chennai has got a good course in naval architecture. There are some other institutes as well. So along with oceanography. So it's a combination which really works well, and is something which is in demand right now. Like I already mentioned, the working conditions on the ship, if at all you want to go on the ship lines. I've made this presentation more onto the fact that if somebody is really interested in sailing on the ships and making a career in actually sailing, then what is it in store for you? So like I told you, there are 20 to 30 people on board the ship, and you'll probably be there for about 6 months. Then you'll have a 2-month leave, and then you'll have to go back again for 6 months. Nowadays, they have reduced the timing to 4 months on the ship, and then maybe 3 months off, and then 4 months on, 3 months off, that way, to kind of ease the monotony. And a lot of job prospects once you become a chief engineer and you quit your sea career. Then you have jobs on land as well, where you can be recruited by any of the companies which I mentioned earlier. Public sector undertakings, private entities, engineering companies, design companies, everyone, all the doors are open for you. This is, of course, sailing on the ship is hazardous, as you know that you are always surrounded by heavy equipment and dangerous equipment. So the risks are high, so it's a high risk, high reward kind of a job. Qualification required, what I remember is you need to take science as your stream while doing +2. And also when you're doing engineering, it's not, even if you have not done marine engineering and you pursued another engineering, there are courses available where you can do like a 6-month or a 1-year course and apply for sailing on the ship. So you may get a diploma, and then together with that, you can shift across streams as well, from electrical or mechanical to marine engineering. It's easier from mechanical to marine engineering. From electrical, probably there are some interlinked courses which you can do, but a background in science is a must. And there is BTech, and after BTech, naval architecture. You can also go into pre-C, where from 12th standard directly you can go on the ship, and they will train you. But in that case, you will be on the deck side, wherein you won't be associated with the engineering side, but you will probably move on to eventually becoming the captain. So more onto the operation side rather than the maintenance and engineering side. Some institutes I have just put over here which offer this course. Of course, Tolani is there. It's in Induri village in Pune. You have Samudra Institute, which is in Lonavala, and then Manet here in Maharashtra, and all of there are institutes all across India. So if you're not from here and you need to kind of apply, there are a lot of colleges, and there are even more. I just mentioned a few which I know. Right. So for women, when I was in college, my batch had only 3 women, and we were a batch of almost 200 students, in which there were only 3 women. And not many women wanted to do this kind of job, like staying 6 months out at sea and into this kind of heavy engineering. But over the last few years, or let's say 10 years, a lot of women have got attracted to this field, and they are also going out at sea. In fact, some of my batchmates are captains, and some of them are chief engineers as well, and they are doing exceedingly well in this field. So, if there are any women over here who want to take this course, it's a great opportunity. And as any industry is, it is tough, but it also is quite equal. And if you do well, if you know the subject and you're able to perform, then it doesn't matter what gender you are. It's an open for all industry. So I would definitely recommend it. In this year, I feel there are, in a batch of 200, there are at least 30 to 40 women students who are enrolling in this program. So I'm very glad to hear that number when I was talking to my dean as well. And this is something which, if you have that spark of engineering in you and you want to progress in this career, so you should not hold yourself back just because the environment, or is it's kind of a male dominated industry. There's equal opportunity for women in this industry. To conclude, it has a great scope in India. You can its use Ships are used for trading, for tourism, for security, for underwater exploration. There is a lot of research and development happening, and now that with the government stressing on in connecting India by waterways, you have the Sagarmala project where India, being a peninsula, has got water on three sides. So a lot of connectivity is being planned through the sea, where the commute time can reduce. So very soon you will be finding water taxis around you. In fact, there is already a Ro-Ro service where you can take your car and go to Alibag from Gateway of India. So these services are already started, and it's only going to grow bigger. Since we have so much water around us, it's but natural that someday or the other we'll be exploring that as well. Land has become too congested, and the sea is has limitless boundaries. Just to give you a view, we rule 70% of the world because 70% is water. And that's about it. I hope I was able to give you some insight into this industry and share some of my personal experiences. If you have any questions, I'll be really happy to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for educating us on such an interesting field of study. If anyone has any questions, please put up in the chat box. Sir will be happy to answer. Sir, we have a question in the chat box.
Yes, I am unable to view the chat box. If you can read out the question, I'll be able to answer.
Okay, so he is asking, he is pursuing EXTC engineering. How can he get into Indian Navy?
Okay, so the Indian Navy has got many programs. They have a side to where you actually go into the field and pursue operations, where you go into the field and you protect the oceans as well. And then you have a technical side, because the Indian Navy has got so many ships, it needs a technical team, or rather a huge technical team, to support those ships, the warships, keep them operational, they get defective a lot of the times, and they need repair. They need to be reconditioned again. So, having pursued this engineering, you can apply to the Indian Navy. There's a website, I think, indiannavy.nic.in, where for new recruits on the technical side, you can go on that window and see what options are available. They also have a PR team. You can write to them and start a dialogue with them, and they will kind of let you know how to proceed in this field. But it's very much doable. The Indian Navy has got a full-fledged electrical wing. It's called the Directorate of Electrical Engineering. It's got a Directorate of Naval Architecture, Directorate of Marine Engineering, and Directorate of Ship Acquisition. So there's a lot of scope there as well. And plus, you get to be a naval officer.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more person has asked, he wishes to join the Musgao dock in future. How can he get into the whole thing?
So just let me give a blanket answer. All these organizations like Mazagon Dock Limited, you have Cochin Shipyard, you have Hindustan Shipyard, then Dredging Corporation of India, Shipping Corporation of India. These are all public sector companies owned by the government of India, and all of them have a recruitment site on their recruitment portal on their website, where you can go and look at the eligibility criteria. So they have age limits, they have technical qualifications, and they require all kinds of manpower. They require from accountants to engineers, they require a lot of people. So anybody who wants to get into any of these companies has to go through this recruitment process. There are also counselors available who on a regular basis are in touch with these organizations, and if I don't know of any per se, but I know that there are a few, because I have a lot of friends in MDL and the other organization. So yeah, they come from all parts of the world, uh, uh, and you can get recruited in that organization by going through their recruitment portal. So it depends on which field you want to go. Like if after engineering, if you want to pursue a commercial degree and then go in as a marketing manager. So Mazagon Dock has got a marketing division as well, where they are right now pursuing foreign ships to come to Mazagon Dock for repair, and they also are pursuing foreign companies for them to buy ships from India, where Mazagon Dock is one of the leading shipbuilders of our country, rather than make it in Hyundai or in Korea or China, make those ships here in India. So they have a marketing team, then they have a design team. So all the scopes are open. You just need to approach the right channel, go to the recruitment portal, and see the careers option, and then get in touch with the right people. They will let you know how to move about it. That's true for all the PSUs which are there.
Thank you, sir. A person is asking, is there any requirement to give any entrance exam for the Indian Navy?
Yes. There is some examination, some aptitude examination, and also fitness examinations, medical examinations need to be given, because it's also to do a lot with fitness as well as your technical aptitude. So they do have an entrance exam.
Okay, thank you, sir. If anyone else has any questions, please put up in the chat box. Okay, so it looks like we have covered all of the questions. So is there anything else you would like to say before concluding this webinar?
No, I just want to thank everybody, and I hope I was able to give you some information or some insight into helping you make a better decision. I will leave my contact details with Isa, and if anyone of you, if you can't think of anything right now but would like to know or like to get some more information, please feel free to write to me, and I would be really happy to help out.
Okay, so it looks like we have covered everything. Great. Thank you so much, sir, for taking some time out of your schedule and conducting this informative session and sharing your wonderful insight on this topic. I would like to thank the faculty members of VIT for attending this webinar. A big thanks to ESA's convener, Professor Rakshit Sood, for supporting and encouraging us to organize this event, and Team ESA for putting up together this amazing webinar. And last but not the least, special thanks to all the students present here for helping this webinar become a success. Thank you so much, sir, and we hope you liked this event.